How's it going, freshwater freaks? Welcome back. So, this morning I woke up to some gurgling in the tank, and so I wanted to find out what was going on. The back filter, or the intake, got clogged. So it ran the system almost dry. So I figured, since I gotta do this, I might as well show you guys what the system is and how it works. So basically, we followed DIY King Joey Mullen's 5-gallon canister filter system, and we kind of kicked it up a notch, changed it up a little bit, and did a canister sump system, I guess you would say. So basically, let's get into it, and we'll show you guys what we do. So first, you're going to want to get a 5-gallon bucket. Now, had I done this, thought about this before, I would have gone with a clear bucket, because you can see the water levels, and you'll see why that's important shortly here. Basically, I did this for aesthetic appeal. It's really cool looking. I mean, camo bucket. It's kind of cool. So you have a 5-gallon bucket. You can see we've got a bulkhead. Let's take this off here. This is our gamma lid. Gamma lid is the one that has the, it's like a seal here. See that threads on? It's got a top here, just threads right in, and this snaps onto any 5-gallon bucket. It's all standard sizing. You can see down here we've got the bulkhead going through. So this bulkhead, we also silicone for additional sealing. Then we tighten down our lock ring. Goes out to a 1-inch ball valve, and then into a quick release. Just a cool little coupling. Then on the top of the gamma lid, which just threads right on there. Okay, and this is the canister. So this is where the water comes in through the top. Essentially, you could do it either way. If you wanted to do a reverse system where it's coming in through here, running through your media and coming out or whatever, depending on how you want to do it. But this is just the basic base. So on the top of your lid, you're going to want to drill a hole through your center of your gamma lid. Get it as square as you can, as center as you can. And this bulkhead, I got lucky because it has these little tabs right here, so I was able to, it holds on the edges, and I was able to lock it down really well. And you always want to make sure you get your seal on the inside, so that's where the water is. So this is where the water comes down through the intake tube. So the intake, we have a old water bottle, because it just worked out really perfectly to use that. I needed a filter basket. I wanted to be able to monitor. That goes up into, I had some old back filter tubing. So I took that and recycled it, stuck that on there. That runs back down the 1-inch drain tube to, I don't know what size that ball valve is. Comes down through the wall to the ball valve and to the quick release head that goes to the top here. So basically, and you want to make sure, you can see it's got a seal right here. I don't know if you can see that, there's an O-ring for additional seal there. And so let's get this thing put back together, and we'll show you the rest of the setup with that. This is what I call the well house. This is basically the exact same setup, okay? But inside, what we did was, before I put the gamma lid on, I notched and put a hole for each of the power cords, one for the pump and then 2 for the heaters, because basically this bucket would never be full, and it's not pressurized, so there's no need to seal it per se. Let me show you what we got going on here. Inside is the same system: the lid, the bulkhead, the up to the quick release ball valve and then into the return, and we'll show you that in a minute. But what we've got here is we've strapped a pond pump. This is the Barrett 6 Beckett FR600 submersible pump. It does about, I think it was 675 gallons an hour, maybe a little more. So this here sits down just in the plain old bucket. You can see there. So we've got this at the bottom, and we have 2 heaters that sit in there with it. And so what happens, the way it works is our drain water comes in through the top, comes through whatever you want to do really for media. We're going to be doing a layered system of the polyester polishing filter floss and some cycled media filter that I already have here. It's a mix of carbon pads, ammonia, and nitrate reducers. So let's put this thing together, and we'll try to get everything filled in here before we run out of time. So I don't know how long my phone will record for right now. So basically, to get started, we need to get the pump and heaters put in. We want them to sit towards the bottom. And now I don't always actually have this lid screwed on. I sometimes just have it setting on the top here. Because like I said, it never pressurizes or should be full. And you control your flow rates as to how much water is coming into this. Then they each have a ball valve. So as the water is coming into this bucket, I can determine how much water is coming into the canister. I can determine how much water is leaving the canister and going into the pump house. I can determine what's going from which to which, and I can also determine how much is coming back out. So I have a full adjustability. It's very easy to do. You want to monitor it though, and that's one of the reasons why I said clear buckets. So you can watch your water levels and get them to where you want them and make sure everything's running smoothly. I can't do that very easily with these solid buckets, but I've learned to do it by watching the water level in the tank and listening for the buckets. So let's put this thing together and see how we go. First thing we're going to do, we need to set our filter media, and I use this little, it's an old cave or whatever, but it sits in front of the bulkhead so that it doesn't get clogged, kind of acts as a stabilizer. So what I did was I built a shelf out of an old piece of undergravel filter to help me keep the filter pads up. Okay. Set that in there. Let's see here. Just kind of sits in there right there. And then we're going to let's see if I can keep some good, decent light for you. So we got that. And then we're going to do some layers of the carbon filter. Ammonia pads. Try not to drop my phone here. Alright. Get that layered in there. Okay, so you can see we've got everything layered. Now what we're going to do is take, put in some new filter floss, so that way we can run the system for a while. Because that's already, this is the other bucket option too, because you can see it's got a clear, you can see the water levels. But again, if you're going to do it, you know, do it cool. So what we got here is the Polyfill polyester filter floss. You can get this at any DIY or Joanne Fabrics type of crafting place. Alright. So you can see we got that there. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these sections of old undergravel filter on top here, and what that's going to do is it's going to break the water up so that it's not just draining from one center and just plummeting down through and going through. It's going to break the water up, aerate it throughout the bacteria, through the biological, through the media, blah blah blah, and it'll do its job. So by you know, kind of displacing that water as it hits, comes in. So now that that's done, we're going to put our gamma lid on, and want to make sure that your seal is seated. And even though it's not going to be under pressure, it's a good idea to get a good turn on there. Make sure it closes up nice and good. Alright. So now that's ready. Now we're going to set that into place. I want to put that lid, make sure you put that handle back before you get started, because once you get these things set up, you can't flip it. So now we're done with that polyester. Put that away, clean it up here a sec. Alright, moving on to the pump house. So actually that works better if I just turn it. Okay. So we've got our pump and our heaters are in place. They're unplugged. Got our wires all ran nicely out of the way. Again, our output, or return line, is going to come up through this system, which again is the pump sitting in the bottom. So it's just basically essentially an empty sump. You know, it's not doing anything. These are the baffles are going in between, bringing it to the pump house, which brings it up through here and shoots it straight on up. So back to the tank, and we're good. I also have a breather hole punched here just so that it doesn't create pressure, because you don't want to have, I don't know, back pressure. It's not a fully sealed system. You blow the seals on it and then you got a whole bunch of problems. You can also use this not with a submersible. If you just did this bucket and you just added an inline, I forget the name of it. I'll have to see if I can put it in the comments section later. It's just basically an inline pump, so you can just run this, have your water draining through it, in through your media, and then to your outline, and that can go to your inline pump, and then that'll return it back. So you can shorten this whole system, and that way you don't have to worry about back siphoning, because it's an inline system, kind of takes care of itself. So let's get this put back together. So right now we're gonna go ahead and put the return. You want to make sure that your O-ring is on there. And you put everything back together. Make sure your seals are all put together. And you can put this either way. You can see I'm actually threading up instead of threading down. I would have probably changed that. I could change it, but I just guess I'm not going to. Make sure that's tight. Make sure that's set. Alright, so now we're going to set these two together. Again, making sure that our seals are in place. And then these two ball valves, so this one coming from with the well house, this one with the canister, so connect them with this little quick connect in the middle. So you want to make sure you get them all set in place, because once these things start filling up, you're not going to be able to move them. Make sure our lines are nicely set. I've got both ball valves are open from canister to canister. I'm going to open our return. Okay. Go ahead and start our siphon here on our intake. All right. Get that all locked in here. We're almost done. Got our line primed over here. Alright, so you can see our intake coming in over here. So this line's all set, it's primed. We are going to now open up this bucket. Listen for the water start draining. Alright, we've got drainage. Let's go ahead and turn this sucker on. Alright, alright, alright. Let's take a look at our water levels here. Alright, awesome. Great. Okay, so everything's working out, everything's flowing good. We've got return, we've got intake. Now, depending on the pump that you're using and your fittings and everything, you're going to have to adjust your flow rates, like I said, from your return or your intake, your pump system, and all the way up to the return. You're going to want to watch your water levels, make sure everything stays where it should, and basically you're all set. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a lot. Don't be afraid to try your own stuff. Again, thank you, Joey, for your inspiration for everything that you do for the hobby, and being an awesome role model for a lot of young hobbyists out there. So this is how you do the system for the 5-gallon DIY King into a 5-gallon sump, I guess. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, keep it fresh. Thanks for watching.